Hello. Um, this is a good morning message, but in a way, I just want to show condolences to the family that lost a wonderful family. Her name is Denise Prudom. This was like 2 weeks ago. This was a woman in her 60s that clocked in work. So as she was clocked in work in the office at Wells Fargo in Arizona, turns out when she clocked in and was working somewhere between that day that she clocked in, she just died on her desk and was left dead in her office for 4 days. 4 days. And just thinking of those final moments of her life, dying in an office is horrifying, because these are the conditions that were faced, is that we could even, die in an office and be found 4 days later and our body decomposing, in an office. And I'm gonna show the clip, but a lot of the employees sound scared. They're terrified to speak out. Like, they even have to censor their voice so they could be censored off and not targeted because of how powerful these corporations are. And this is what we're up against as being anti-imperialist and being for the worker, for fighting for our rights as workers. It's one of those things where I think the world is watching and seeing how much they treat the workers in the U.S. And I think it's one of those things where they're kind of showing an example of what we are, how cruel this society, this system has become, where we have a 60-year-old woman that died in her office for 4 days and left decomposing for 4 days. For not 1 hour, not 20 minutes, 4 days in the Wells Fargo office for 4 days. And it's a big disappointment. And the statement that Wells Fargo put out, we are sorry, sorry for, that's all you gotta say, and these are the conditions that a lot of us are facing. And I do want to put that story out there because we have a lot to fight against as a proletariat, as a working class, against these type of corporations that they're very inhumane. They don't care a single bit about where we come from, what our values are, what we come from, what we believe in. They don't care about none of that. At the end of the day, it's about money. At the end of the day, it's about how much they could make out of us and how much they could take out of us. That's their goal. Their goal is to work us out until we're dead, until we're useless, and until the worker gets old and we can't even retire at this point. Me, I'm still middle-aged, person, and a couple years from now, if I get injured, if my leg breaks, if something happens to me, there's no protection. There's no workers' protection for anything. So, I don't know. I just wanted to shed light to this woman that died for 4 days in her desk. They want to say and the sad part is that the workers thought it was plumbing issues. That's how bad our conditions are. that they thought that were plumbing issues. Like, people are used to smelling things and toxins in our body, and like smelling things that we're not supposed to be smelling, and things like that. Like, we're so used to being mistreated to a point where we're allowing our bodies to be mistreated, and we're allowing ourselves to be abused. This is abuse. This is abuse to the highest power. And the thing is that I think of it more of like, you know, are we gonna sit around and keep allowing mistreatments to workers? We're the ones giving them the money. We're making them their money. We're the ones that giving them their wealth. We're the ones that give them what they need for their businesses, to run their businesses, and without us, they're nothing. So this is why I'm, in a way, you know, I'm kind of proud of the younger generation taking a stand and saying, like, no, we're not going to take that, you know, and I'm very proud of them for doing that and realizing that they're worth more, because they are worth more. And, you know, I guess it's literally them against us. And if we're going to continue to allow them to treat us like this, and it's like, I couldn't believe this story. I thought this was a third world country story. I mean, yeah, a third world country example what had happened. But no, it's happened in the USA. And the wealthiest country of America, and the wealthiest country in the world. I'm sorry. This is happening in the wealthiest country. A woman on her desk who was left dead for 4 days. And the scary part is that a lot of the people who were interviewed were afraid to get interviewed. And the way that they just sounded afraid, it's like, you don't know what they're capable of. These guys are thugs. The people who are in control, these corporations, they're thugs, they're mafias. They are in control. But the thing is, it's slowly getting disintegrating. We gotta do better. We're doing better, and we gotta give the rights to the workers. And I hope that the workers win. And that's why I did want to put this story out, to give light to this woman who died, and who was probably, you know, I don't know who this woman was, but I just sympathize with the family, with everything that had happened, and the people who had to, unfortunately, smell a decomposing body in an office. How cruel this system is. How cruel we have gotten to a point where people were just afraid to speak out. And how cruel making I don't know, what if this woman had something? What if something, you know, we don't know. And she was left alone. She's isolated and nobody paid attention to her. So I guess my morning message is that just kind of giving condolences to the woman that passed away, and unfortunately, you know, could have been under different circumstances. You know, what if she couldn't get out of her office because she was afraid if she left that she was going to get a write-up or something. You don't know. But, you know, if she was around with people, surrounded by people in a healthy environment where people care with one another and not in a toxic environment, maybe, you know, somebody would have called the hospital, called 911, had the emergency and something. It like, I feel like a lot of things could have been they could have taken action to prevent this. A woman dying that died for 4 days, and I just wanna like I just wanna shed the light of this story, because this should be out everywhere. There should be giving us a warning. There should be a lesson learned of, this is why we need to start planning, why we need to start standing up for our rights, why we need to start planning with our communities, why we need to not take anything from these jobs anymore, and to stand up for ourselves and to not be afraid. But I also wanted to just give her a light and pay respects for her, for this woman, Denise. I don't know who she was, but I just want to pay my respects to her. So I'm going to play the video. It's like a 2-minute video, and hopefully, rest in peace to Denise. And, one day, the workers will rise up, and we will start to fight for our rights as workers, as a proletariat, as as we move forward. And yeah, this is just my morning message. Have a good one.
A Tempe Wells Fargo employee died at her desk, and 12 News is now confirming that it may have taken as many as 4 days for anyone in the office to notice. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. It's a story we first reported yesterday. Tonight, Tempe police are confirming the timeline of when the woman clocked in to when her colleagues found the body. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is in the studio with new details tonight. Gabby, 4 days. I mean, this poor woman went 4 days undiscovered. It's hard to believe.
And that's a question many employees are asking themselves tonight. I spoke with an employee who said that she shared her perspective on the workplace environment, and they say it's a big building, but most people don't work there on a daily basis. A Wells Fargo employee went to work the morning of Friday, August 16th and never went home. Tempe police tell 12 News 60-year-old Denise Prudom scanned into work at 7 o'clock in the morning. 4 days later, police responded to the office building near Washington Street and Priest Drive for reports of a subject down. Prudom was declared dead. The Tempe Police Criminal Investigation Bureau is investigating, but do not suspect foul play. A Wells Fargo employee exclusively spoke with 12 News, but asked not to be recorded or identified out of fear for their job. They say a colleague found Prudom dead at her desk in a cubicle while walking around the building on Tuesday, August 20th. Prudom's cubicle was reportedly on the 3rd floor and away from the main aisle. This employee says several people had smelled a foul odor, but passed it off as faulty plumbing. They say while most Wells Fargo employees at this Tempe location work remote, the building has 24/7 security, and someone should have found Prudom sooner. The incident left several employees feeling scared and uneasy. This employee wants to see new safety protocols in place, telling me, quote, "It's negligence in some part." A different worker also spoke with 12 News anonymously.
It was just uncomfortable.
Again, calling on the company to do more.
Body was there about 4 days before anybody found it, before anybody walked up to her and just to say hi, make sure she's okay. She was just laying on her desk.
A Wells Fargo spokesperson previously sent 12 News a statement saying, in part, "We are deeply saddened by the tragic loss of our colleague at our Tempe office," adding counselors through our employee assistance consulting service are available to support employees. An employee tells me their direct management offered those services, addressed